Hey guys, it's Daryl and Tom. We're here at Mont, Giles today. If you're working with Universal as a designer or a dealer, you're going to experience our leather on frames. We wanted to give you some examples today of things to look for. Tom, what should a designer expect to see from Mont Giles leather on frame?
Okay, so because these leathers are just drum dyed and then finished with a little bit of wax and oil, you're going to see slight color variation, sometimes even within a hide. If you look from here, you can see the leather's a little darker, and then you get in here in the neck area, it's going to be a little lighter. It's basically, it's a cow skin, so certain areas are going to take the dye a little differently than others. Also, you're going to see natural markings, like right here's a scar, neck wrinkle, other sort of things. This is a healed scratch and bug bites.
Tom, are these imperfections in the hide?
Daryl, I'm glad you asked that. No, these are natural characteristics. These are beauty marks of the hide and just really prove that this is authentic, real leather. Each piece you get is going to be its own and unique.
Tom, I think that's a really important point to make because as we talk about the uniqueness of each client's home, each piece from Universal, while it is close in color, may vary a little bit. Let's talk about that, for example. The edge of this hide is a little bit darker than the middle of this hide. Why?
So basically, because these hides aren't pigmented, they're just drum dyed in these vats with these water-soluble dyes, different parts of the cow's skin are going to take the dyes differently.
At Universal, they're experts in upholstery, so one of the things that their team will do consistently is highlight certain pieces or certain areas of these hides in certain areas of the chair in order to really create a beautiful flow of color. Tom, talk a little bit about that flow of color.
Yeah, so what the guys at Universal will do, they'll maybe take some of the darker portions of the hide and wrap them around some of the tighter parts of the hide to make this color sort of burst through. That's what we call a pull-up effect. And then maybe they'll take some of the lighter parts of the hide, as you can see right around here, and put it on a seat cushion. This is where they really are experts, showing the flow of color where it all mixes together well.
And the goal there is to create a piece of furniture that actually has variance in it, but it's beautiful, right? It's not flat, so when it's photographed in the home or when you see it from across the room, it really comes alive. And the best part is that you can tell that it's leather from any distance. One of the questions we get a lot, Tom, is what if it scratches? Let's show them that. Tom, what do we do now?
Really all you need to do is just add a little heat to the surface. For a stubborn scratch, you could apply maybe a hairdryer, but really just live with it. It's going to come up on its own.
As you can see, that scratch is almost already gone with just a simple rubbing of the hand. Think about it. Kids, dogs, an unwanted guest at times. Scratches are something that are going to create a beautiful wearing in process and actually become part of the piece over its lifetime. Tom, these hides, by the time they get to Mont Giles, have already gone through a really strict quality control process, starting at the abattoir, moving to the tannery, and then here at the distribution center in Virginia. Before their final destination, Universal, what are the last things that we would look for with these hides?
So the first thing they do is they check the leather for color. They have a control standard that when we bring a leather in, we set a target color. So if the leather falls within range, it's not going to be perfect. Then the next thing, they look at it for selection. And what I mean by that are, how many scratches, scars, that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, these leathers are going to have scratches and scars and bug bites, but if we see too many of them, chances are we're not going to ship them.
Tom, these natural characteristics, the scratches, the scarring, the stretch marks, we all call them hallmarks or beautiful characteristics of each hide. Is there a moment when we would not ship one of these hides?
Yes, there are moments when we wouldn't ship one of these hides. If we see a ton of them, it looks like this cow maybe just really had a tough life and had tons of scratches and scars, we wouldn't ship it. So the last thing we would look for is we'd really just give the leather a basic quality inspection. We would check the break, we'd check the finish, and just make sure that the leather looks and matches the standard.
As a designer working with individual clients, one of the questions that you're going to get often is, how do I know that this is real leather? Tom, when we look at this hide, what are some hallmarks of real leather?
I would say these natural characteristics that we keep talking about, these scratches, the scars, these neck wrinkles, And then I'd say the variation in the grain of the leather. And what I mean by the grain, it's the variation within the skin. So if you look from areas around, some's gonna have more of a tight look, where other areas are gonna be a little more loose.
In the Universal to the Trade program, you're going to see 3 key leathers. You're going to see Hudson, Mont Blanc, and this hide, which is Sheridan. Tom, tell us a little bit about Hudson versus Mont Blanc and Sheridan.
Okay, so Hudson, specifically designed by Universal to showcase for more of a modern setting. So what we do is we add just a tiny bit of pigment to the surface. And what that does is it offers for bigger pattern sizes, yet it's still got a really soft hand. So when you see it and sit on it and feel it, you can tell that it's leather.
What about Sheridan, or what about Mont Blanc?
So Sheridan would be on the total opposite end of the Hudson, if you ask me. Sheridan's specifically designed to have that really cool sort of bomber jacket look, that distressed look. And you're gonna see more of the natural markings. Whereas Mont Blanc is similar to Hudson, similar to Sheridan, where you're gonna see more of the natural markings, the neck and belly wrinkles, but also this really pretty burst of color, a flow of color that we're always talking about.
Tom, as you can see here, Sheridan has a tendency to scratch, right? Mont Blanc as well. We both know that you can rub that out easily and it's part of the beautiful wearing in process. But let's say that you've got a customer or a client who's afraid of that scratching. What should we push them towards?
So Hudson would be a great choice. If you have that client that, like Daryl was saying, the scratching sort of scares them, Hudson would be a great choice. It's got a really soft finish, but because it's got this little bit of pigment added to the surface, it's going to prevent those scratches from coming.
And Mont and Giles are so proud to be working with Universal Furniture. The 3 leathers that we've talked about today are awesome options for your customers, whether they want something that looks really natural or they want something that looks a little bit more slick and contemporary. In fact, they come in lots of colors, right, Tom?
Right, so with these SKUs from Universal, we offer over 50 colors. So chances are we can find something that works perfect for your project.
That's right, Tom. In fact, when you place an order with Universal, that means all of the leathers that are in this program are coming from Virginia at Mont and Giles. That means they get to you faster. Hey, and don't forget, all of the leather that comes from Mont and Giles is actually a byproduct of the beef industry. That means that as a sustainable company, we're recycling these hides and turning them into something beautiful and useful for your clients today. For more information about Mont and Giles leather, visit montandgiles.com. There you're going to find out how this leather is made, resources and information on our sustainability practices, and you're also going to find out how to care and clean it.